right, good morning. We are on to our mathematics NECO JS3 certificate exam preparation series or preparatory series, and we'll be handling paper 1 question by question. We have covered to about question 53, and I'll start off with question 54 today. And question 54 says, calculate the volume of a cuboid 8 cm long, 4 cm wide, and what? 3 cm high. A cuboid is likely to be something of like your carton, maybe a pack of sugar. It will have length. It will have length. It will have length. In this case, the length is 8. It will have width. In this case, it will be 4 cm. And it will have height, which is what? 3 cm. So what is the volume? The volume of a cuboid is equal to 4, 8 times 4 times 3. And when you multiply that out, that will give you 32 times 3, which will be 96 cm cube. So the answer to that is 96 cm cube. Now let's go to question 55. In question 55, we are told to calculate the radius if the circumference of a circle is what? 64 centimeters. Now, I'm going to use this to show you the concept of change of subject formula. Circumference of a circle is equal to 2 pi r. So which means C is equal to 2 pi r. 2 pi r will be equal to what? C. Meaning that r will be equal to what? You divide both sides by 2 pi, and your final answer becomes what? C over 2 pi. I decided to take a different approach because this is the right thing to do. You must make the radius the subject of the formula before you keep solving. Now, from this point, we will have that r will be equal to circumference 64, 2 times what? 22 over what? 7. So, how do we cancel out? I want you to watch very carefully how I'll be cancelling out. This is a numerator, this is a denominator. This 7 is a numerator. This 7 is a numerator. I know earlier in your studies, there's a way they teach you, you write, you turn. I don't do that. For me, it's outdated. If I look at these parts, there is a numerator and there's a denominator. This, if you look at this number here, this is your denominator. This is a numerator. So without wasting time and beginning to write too much, I just go straight ahead to say what? 64 times 7 divided by 2 times 22. And so what do I do at this point? I will cancel out 1, 32, 11, 16. So I'm going to have 16 times 7 divided by 11. So I'll multiply that one here, 16 times 7, and that will give me 112 212 divided by 11. That will give me 11.1 something. So because an OBJ exam, so that will give me 10. Sorry, that will give me 10. Because an OBJ exam, there is one answer that looks more like it, and that is 10.18. Sometimes in an exam, I've told us before, it's not in all the exam you're expected to solve and finish everything. There's a technique. There's a way you solve questions in OBJ. You don't need to solve word for word. So that's the solution to the problem. Let's copy that quickly. That the angle between the length of a rectangle and its diagonal is 30 degrees. So the first thing you need to do is to draw the rectangle. All right. So they said the angle between the length and the diagonal. So I'll take this to be the length, and the diagonal is 30 degrees. So this is the length, and the length is 6 cm. He said we should find the length of the diagonal. Now, this is a right angle triangle. Here, the properties of a rectangle is being tested. What's that property? That this is that if I cut this, the diagonal will cut this triangle, or rather this rectangle, into two triangles that are right angle. So our task is to find this one, x. This is what we have to look for. So you're going to use your SOHCAHTOA relationship. So by trigonometric ratios, comma, you're going to have that 6 over what? X will be equal to what? 30 degrees, which will be cos 30 degrees, because this is adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. Now, 6 over x, what is cos 30? Cos 30 is what? Root 3 over 2. So, we will wipe this part off. And let's see if we can finish that. So this will give me 12x, now give me 12 over what? Root 3. So what I will now do next is to multiply the numerator and the denominator by root 3. I'll multiply the numerator and the denominator by root 3. This will now give me 12 root 3 divided by 3. 12 root 3 divided by 3, and my final answer becomes what? 4 root 3 in CM. Let me go over that again. I don't think you have any issue with this. But where I think you're going to have issue will be how resisting root 3. Remember in your GSS, in your grade 8, we said that x squared is same thing as, let's say, I say find the square root of 9. If I say the square root of 9, you're going to tell me it is what? 3. How? Because the square root of 9 will be equal to what? 3. Now imagine, so it means that you're going to have 2, you have to multiply 3 twice to get 9, is that not? Now imagine that this number were to be root 3 and this is to be root 3. What do you think you're going to get? It will be 3. I want you to follow the argument. This times this will give you 9. So imagine you now have this as square. You can't find the square root of this. You can't find the square root of this. If you multiply them, it's like these are two things now. This one means that this one will be this one and this one. This one means that this will be this one and this one. So if I multiply 2 of this, I will get 1 of this. By that same line of reasoning, if I multiply 2 of this, I'm going to get 1 of this. It's a new idea you have seen today. With time, if we see it again, I will now re-emphasize that. Calculate. Question says calculate the diameter of a circle whose circumference is what? 132. All right, so let's go to the next one. So here, remember that the circumference is either equal to 2 pi r or equal to pi d. R here is radius, and d here is what? Diameter. All right. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, because we're looking for diameter, is to make diameter the subject of the formula. Pi d equal to c. Now, I'm sounding this for the purpose of emphasis because I have seen students who will be substituting on the formula. No, it's wrong. That is why you learn change of subject formula. I think sometimes the challenge a number of you are having is that you don't use certain aspects of what you have learned. It's important. Everything is important. I always use the Marvel Cinematic Universe to explain this. Every character is important. Don't underrate any character. So every topic is important. You need to know when to use them. So you divide both sides by pi, and that will be what? D equal to c over pi. Now, I want to show you something interesting here. This is as c times 1 over pi. So if pi is 22 over 7, it means 1 over pi will be equal to 7 over 22. The concept of multiplicative inverse and what? Additive inverse. I've done a separate video on that. If you're having issues with multiplicative or additive inverse, please you chat me privately and I'll forward that video to you. I've done an extensive work here, so I wouldn't explain much in this class. So this will be equal to 132 times 7 over what? 22. If pi is this, 1 over pi will be this. So that is settled. 11 go here 2, 11 go here 12, 2 go here 1, 2 go here 6. So that will be 6 times 7, and that will be what? 42 centimeters. So that is for question 57. In question 58, we have a diagram that says this. That should increase the size a little more. And then you have 8 cm. You also add here to be 5. I add here to be 5. Now, please, by chat response, what kind of triangle do you have on the board? Could you send a chat privately to me and tell me what kind of triangle you have on the board? Because your understanding of the kind of triangle you have is what will help you solve this question. What type of triangle? A triangle where opposite side, I mean where you have two sides equal. What kind of triangle is that? In an equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal. In a scaling triangle, no side is equal to the other. In an isosceles triangle, this is an isosceles triangle. So you must be able to identify the kind of triangle you have. See, that's why there's a lot of reading. A lot of reading needs to be done. This is an isosceles triangle. So with an isosceles triangle, we know that this one will bisect this line. So this becomes 4 and this becomes 4. It's an important act. So that's something I must know to be able to solve the question. Because you are told to find the area of the figure. To get the area, you must get this one, h. So using notation, h squared plus 4 squared is equal to 5 squared. While Pythagoras, so that's something you must see. You have to see it. So it says sometimes it depends on you seeing the rules and knowing what to do. So h squared plus 16 is equal to 25. And h squared is equal to 25 minus 16. H squared is equal to 9. And h is equal to the square root of 9, which will be 3. So what is the area? Area of triangle will now be equal to what? Half base times what? Height, which is now what? 3. And that will be what? 12 centimeters squared. So the area of that figure will be what? 12 centimeters squared. Question 59. Which of the following methods above is or are correct for constructing angle 30 degrees at A? So I want you to look at that question and give me your response. And that's it. Look, that's the question. I don't know if you'll be able to see it well. That's the question here. So those are the diagrams given. So now check out which of them is the correct way for constructing 30 degrees at A. The answers. If you look at Roman figure 1, if you look at Roman figure 1, can Roman figure 1 be the answer? I doubt. For Roman figure 1, that looks more like constructing 45 degrees. So that's not the answer. Let's look at Roman figure 3. Is that the answer? Possibly. But there was a little bit of an error there. If you watch the way the line went to the other direction, there's no mark, there's no arc telling us that 60 degrees was constructed first. So but look at Roman figure 2. The 60 degrees arc is there. You cannot construct 30 degrees without first constructing 60 degrees. Let that sink. To construct 30 degrees, you must construct 60 because 30 degrees is the bisected angle of 60 degrees. I'm trusting I will also prepare a class for construction, but let's see how it goes because some of these things are at the mental level. I can say a lot of them. I can vet the answers and say, okay, this one is correct, this one is not correct, based on what? The fact that I've tried the process or the process is out. All right, so we're done with 59. Let's go to question 60. So let's draw question 60 in our book. Okay, this is the last question for paper 1. And this is the figure we were given. We had to get this. This will be the same as this. Now we need to get this one because this part will serve as the diameter of this circle. Remember that since we're looking for the perimeter, we're not concerned with this, we're concerned with this curve here, which is the curve of the semicircle. Now together it will be 16 minus 9. Why? Because from here to here is 9. Obviously from here to here will now be this minus this. So that will be equal to 7 cm. So radius, diameter of semicircle will be equal to 7 cm. We have gotten that. So the perimeter or the length of the arc, of semicircle will be equal to pi d over 2 because it's a semicircle. Notice I was very careful to say length of arc. If I say perimeter of a semicircle, I've started shooting my leg. Because let me look at this. Let me clear the air. If I say perimeter, I mean this. If I say arc, I mean this. So arc, perimeter. So take note of the difference. Now, so the length of arc will be half of the circumference of the circle. So what is the diameter? The diameter is 7. So that will be 22 over 7 times 7 all over 2. This will cancel this. And I'll be left with 22 over 2, which will be 11 centimeters. So 11 centimeters will be the circumference of this, rather the length of this arc. But remember that you were told to find the perimeter. So perimeter of figure will now be equal to 16 plus 14 plus 9 plus 11 plus 14. I'll take that again. 16 plus 14 plus 9 plus 11 plus 14. So add everything together. So confirm if my answer is right. So that answer is 64 is correct. So we have successfully come to the end of exercise of question 60, paper 1. Okay, this is the end of our class. It has been a splendid time completing paper 1 of 2018 NECO Junior WAEC exam. We hope to continue with paper 2 in our next class. And our mock exam has been fixed for July 18th. So students should settle down and prepare very well because your passing this exam is a moral booster to the final exam. I'll leave you for now until I meet with you again. It is me saying keep solving mathematics.